Yo, what's going on YouTube, and welcome back to another Destiny Taken King video. And in this video, I want to talk about and show you guys the armor sets from the new King's Fall raid. As you know, update 2.0 dropped yesterday, and with that came a load of database updates, and as is always the way when the database gets updated, a load of new items surface, and in this case, that's raid gear. The raid weapons have also shown up, but I'll cover that in a separate video. For now, I'm going to focus on these 6 new sets of raid gear. Yes, you heard me correctly, 6. If you guys do enjoy this video and you're hyped to start raiding next week, then hit that like button. And be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any Taken King news. Now the reason I said 6 sets is because this time round, each class has 2 different sets. A normal set and a harrowed set. I assume the harrowed set comes from the hard or the heroic difficulty raid, while the normal one comes from the base difficulty. Starting off with the Warlock, you have the Mouth of Ur, the Chasm of Yule, the Grasps of Air, and the Path of Zol. And on top of that, you have the harrowed variant. The colour scheme for all the regular sets seem to be this sort of bone white and red colour, while the harrowed set adopts a black and green colour scheme. And if you're a Monster Hunter fan, then this is clearly the Brecadius armour set. Now the perks on these items are interesting too, because they give us a hint as to some of the potential raid mechanics, but I'll speak about those in a second once we've seen the other sets. Next up for the Titan, you have War Numen's Crown, War Numen's Chest, War Numen's Fist, and War Numen's Boots, and again the harrowed variant. And if you look at the helmet for a second, it seems that the image we saw in the trailer the other day was indeed the Titan Raid helmet. Another massive helmet to match the Prison of Elders aeroplane. Finally, moving on to the Hunters, you have the Dark Hollow Mask, the Dark Hollow Chiton, the Dark Hollow Grasps, and the Dark Hollow Treads. And then once again, the harrowed variant. What I actually really like about this one is the helmet has a sort of similar shape, at least from the icon, to the Dire Ahamkara skull, which is always a helmet I've liked, but obviously being a hunter, not something I've been able to use. Now with those out of the way, let's talk about those perks. For the time being, the perks on all these items are the same, irrespective of your class. That may all change nearer to launch once they get a final update, but for now, they still give us a hint at some of the potential raid mechanics. The helmets have a pretty basic Taken specific perk that just grants you a temporary precision damage bonus when you pick up Orbs of Light. However, the chest piece has a perk called Old God's Boon, which gives you increased armor while carrying the King's Fall relic. So already, we now have confirmation that the King's Fall raid will again have some sort of relic that we'll need to use. Moving on to the gauntlets, they all have the perk Buddy System, where you get faster weapon reloading while standing in an aura. So I'm going to assume the aura is some sort of zone, maybe similar to the cleansing pool in the Vault of Glass, and we'll likely use that to, say, negate some sort of debuff while in the raid. And then finally, the boots, you have Run for Your Life. Increased agility while torn between dimensions. If you know the lore behind the Taken, you'll know that they are enemies from our world that have been ripped out, altered, and put back in by Arekkz. And given that we're fighting Arekkz, I wonder if that means that there'll be a point during the boss fight where he tries to actually take us, or maybe turn us against our team. Really cool stuff, and I am now even more hyped for the raid. Be sure to keep it locked for my video on the raid weapons coming very soon, but for the time being, that is it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, thanks for watching, take it easy, catch you next time, peace out.